Welcome to At the Bar With podcast. Tonight's guest is somebody that really doesn't need an introduction. Yeah, we have Mike Duffy here, and he's kind of a virtuoso, man of all trades. Welcome.
It's fast flying bullets.
Thanks.
Yeah. So how's your drive in? A little bit better in Minnesota now that
okay. I gotta say, Minnesota drivers are pussies. They seriously are. I don't understand how I'm blowing the doors off people at 60 miles an hour.
I know.
Seriously,
it's opposite in California. The CHP just got a new fleet of vehicles that blend in so they can catch the video game style drivers through traffic. So they're like driving Dodge Neons from 2015 and stuff. It's like they've totally tricked out cars that are usually not the unmarked. You can't tell what the hell they are, and all of a sudden they're right there. So, but it's opposite California. It was at least 70 in a 65. At least I always go 73 because I'm going to run over if I don't.
Here it's like,
what are you doing? It's like, what are you doing? It's like, what? Why?
Well, okay, so I will say they have gotten better at paying attention because they move over.
Yeah,
but you don't need to go 10 miles an hour, 5 miles. Just like the speed limit is like the limit.
Yeah,
and there are people that have a life, and you just need to get the fuck out of the way. So if you're listening, see these. I got these bullets here. I'm going to put these bullets in the front of my car with a fake 308.
They should make it a law. They don't. Germany, it's a law that you have to drive. You don't drive in the left lane at all.
If someone's passing you on the right lane that you're in, you're getting a ticket. And there's a couple states that do that.
Yeah.
At least the sheriffs just take it on their own.
Well, people don't drive. You don't drive in the left lane at all. It's just for passing. People just want to fly fast. You just pass. You just don't sit there. As soon as it clears, you go back into the right lane, and I like that.
Oh, dude, my family and I went to Italy in like 2008, and we rented. There's 14 of us. God, it was anyway. But my cousin actually drives for Porsche now.
Mm-hmm.
He raced rallies and stuff. So he was in one car, and all the cars are manuals.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to Rome, and there's 4 people in one car. There's like 5 people in one car. However we divide it up, but there's 3 cars. I have a manual diesel BMW 325i.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going through Rome, and then we decide we're going to go down the coast and stuff. And it's like, okay, we had to be in the Amalfi Coast from Rome in like 3 hours or something. And my family wanted to stop and see the sights. And I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, we got to go.
Mm-hmm.
So we get on the Autostrada, and you look at the Autostrada, and it says minimum speed in the left lane on the Autostrada is like 160 kph. Right. And then on the far right, it says minimum speed is 60 kph.
Mm-hmm.
And people pay attention.
Yep.
So I got that fucking BMW Firewall. I had that thing going 160, and I look in my rearview mirror, like Speedo says 160.
Mm-hmm.
I look in my mirror, and I got these 2 flashing lights coming up. Just hauling ass up on me. So I move over, and this Lamborghini just goes right by me. I'm like, I'm going 160. This dude's flying. They got wind socks on the so it's like you can judge the wind while you're driving. It's crazy, man.
Well, the next question, speaking of driving, let's do some drinks.
All right.
So, Stacy, what are you having this evening?
Oh, one of them hams over there.
Okay, let me make sure we got the correct
so
drinking software.
Do you think I should just contact Hams and say, hey, I'm promoting the shit out of you?
We should get monetized through Hams.
Yeah, I know it. I used to be a fancy beer drinker when I lived in Germany, but man, nowadays
in Germany you gotta drink the good stuff.
Yeah.
I suppose it's
that's all they have is good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not picky.
Fancy about it too.
I'm not picky. I'm not a like the high IBUs. I don't like the bitter stuff. I'm a Weizen guy usually.
I tried.
I thought you drink Summit.
I tried a Summit. I tried a Blue Moon too.
Mm.
I really like the Blue Moon.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get into the taste of beer. So I switched to tequila and whiskey. Unfortunately, some of them were together. It causes a lot of issues, But,
yeah.
Jack, Jim, and Jose.
Yeah. That was with
had I known you like tequila. I have a really nice bottle of tequila at home.
Yeah. I was with an Air Force guy once. He was we were at a club. And he's like, "Hey, have you ever had a Raging Bull?" And I was like, "No, what's that?" And he goes, "It's whiskey and tequila together." And I'm like, "Ooh, that's a lot of horsepower."
Yeah, it
It only took me one drink, and I was like, "All right."
yeah, that'll be enough of that.
So every time I go drink, if I have a drink, it's either tequila
Mm-hmm.
or tequila and whiskey because I just want the effect. I don't really give a shit about the taste.
Yeah. We had, when Allie Gray was on last week, we had margaritas was her drink, so we had a couple of those. They were really, really good.
Fantastic.
Did she make them?
No.
Oh,
He made them up.
I made them up so we'd have some good drinks. Well, speaking, you're talking about whiskey, so how about we offer you a little bit of this Jameson Orange?
I will try that.
Excellent.
I will try that.
Stacy, will you be trying?
Of course.
Is that a stupid question?
That's a stupid question.
All right.
I almost got some of that at the store tonight.
Oh, really?
I did. I was like, maybe I should have a bottle on hand because when you guys do it, I can partake as well. But
Well, I think you probably should get some.
Patrick, what are you drinking back there?
Here you go, man. Have a sip.
Tonight, I'm just going with a standard bourbon, the Jim Beam, and what I'm doing is you throw a little cherry 7-Up in there with a lime,
Oh yeah.
and it's pretty good. I forgot the limes at the grocery store though, but it's just a nice.
Yeah.
It's bourbon is
Yeah.
you can mix it with stuff, but I like just cherry 7-Up, 0 sugar, bourbon, and you can put a splash of lemon juice or lime in there, and it's quite refreshing actually. It's kind of summer.
And Brett, what is this thing you're imbibing on?
Well, I was trying to do like a half and half with Sam Adams. They got a winter ale, which is pretty good. And half and half would be kind of like Harp Lager and Guinness. But I wanted to try the Sam Adams and give it a little taste test. So
See how it
because
goes?
you know who's on next week? Dermot Cowley from O'Donovan's Irish Pub, because it's going to be St. Patrick's Day coming up. So
it is.
Oh, my
we
God.
test this.
Good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than my norm, which is a poor man's black velvet. But
Well, here's to you, Mike
let's
Duffy.
put it up.
Here's to you guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Cheers.
absolutely.
Cheers, Patrick.
This is
Cheers to you. Let's go.
Oh, that's deadly. Holy crap.
Isn't that good?
how's that taste?
Isn't that good?
That's going to be that'll sneak up on you.
Oh,
So, Mike Duffy.
I will have my clothes off by the end.
That's good. That's good.
And I don't want to fight, so I want to fight naked. That's
That's the best way to do it. That's the best way to do it.
Mike Duffy?
Who
Who
is
is Mike Duffy? Let's start with that.
Well,
I would just say protectionist extraordinaire based on your resume and the many things that you've done.
Yeah. I currently work in the protection world. I'm on a detail with some political figures currently. And I guess you could call it asset protection, but I had to doctor the resume up so people look at it and it's more attractive.
Yep.
But it's I have done work with quite a few in the past. I went around the country with some individuals, and it's a really great experience. Time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
In and out of the state quite a bit. Worked heavily in a specific community in the metro area. Great people. The guys I worked with were awesome. It's Rick Fay's fault, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever you hang around Rick Fay, you start liking guns and you start doing martial arts. And he pushes you into security, and so if I wouldn't be in this world without.
So I want to go back because there's a young skinny kid that walked in the door.
Was I skinny?
You were were skinny. You were not like you are right now. That is for sure. How old were you then?
Oh my God, I was 23.
You were 23 years old, and you probably weighed.
I was not.
You probably weighed maybe $150.
No, dude.
Come on, what did you weigh?
I wasn't $150.
Maybe $170.
I'm about 180 pounds.
Okay. And what do you weigh now?
230.
230. Okay, so it was quite a while ago. And he just ate the whole thing up. He just loved it, and he worked hard. And
This dude, though, I walk in, I got my bucket full of turkey and broccoli. Diana Rathborn comes up and she's like, "Hey, what's your name?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm Mike Duffy, and I saw your ad because we didn't have phones, we didn't have internet, really. I mean, so I was looking through the yellow pages and I wanted to do JKD because I had torn my ACL a couple of years earlier, and I'm sitting on the couch watching Bruce Lee movies. And I'm like, okay, I love martial arts. I'd done Taekwondo, and so I found Minnesota Collie Group. So I went down to check it out, and Diana's like, "Great, come to class. You can come right now. You're going to partner with that guy right there." And he points at Stacy, and I'm like, "Oh, sweet." So my first experience with Stacy is he's shoving me around the room, stepping on my feet, making fun of me. And then I was like, all right, I want to be that guy. How do I get to be like that guy? No, but it was true. It was like, I'd watch you move and I was like, okay, Stacy's got something. And Peter was there. Peter was young. All the guys in the back, it was on 4th Street Northeast.
Yep.
The guys in the back doing Muay Thai. Greg would pop in every once in a while. I know he, but like, Kaiser was there. My first Muay Thai experience was with Dave Kaiser. It would
have been good if it was Rudy Rogers too.
Bill Clincy was there.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people there.
Yeah. And God, man, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? It's so much fun.
It was so much fun, though.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, it's like when I met Stacy, we go back almost at least 30.
Oh, wow.
If not more years ago. And it was funny because he was in a different type of martial arts than me. And I mean, I could kick high in the air and he's like, whatever. And I'm like, whatever. I could
put your foot up there.
I could put it up. Let me take this other foot out and see what you do on your back, But it was, we were different martial arts, but we had a lot to talk about, and it was great. And, we met him at the Mermaid of all places.
That doesn't surprise me.
the dancing.
Yeah.
But the good old days. Yeah. And then, so when did you start, you trained, and then when did you start doing shooting guns?
So my first, I didn't like guns until about 2005.
Well, we couldn't afford guns back then.
Oh, right. Because I didn't, I was a college kid.
Yep.
But I had walked into Rick's office and we were just bullshitting, and he had an M14 or an M1 or whatever. He's like, "Jake, look at this." And he opens it up and I'm like, "Wow, this thing's pretty sweet." I went and got my permit to carry. And at the time it was at Bill's gun shop, and it was like a fucking 8-hour class.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'll suffer the 8
I think I
hours.
did that class too.
Did you? Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So I got my permit to carry. And then I bought my first pistol, which was an XD45, and I just started shooting. I'd go home. I'd literally sit on the toilet and take it apart and put it back.
Springfield. That's back there.
Yeah. So I did that. And then I just started shooting more. And I didn't really start shooting until I started working for a company in the metro area in like 20. I mean, I pulled the trigger. Let's just say that. And then I started working for a company called Sealed Mindset in like 2010. I worked there for 2.5 to 3 years. But the guys that hired me are the ones that taught me how to shoot, so I got to pay the respects to them. But they were like, "Yeah, you're going to get rid of your SIG 229. We're going to give you a Glock." And that's when I fell in love with Glock. I just love guns, but I love that Glock.
Where I worked at, I was a police officer for many years, retired sergeant. That's what we use is Glock. And, and I remember, I was on the range and I had a, H&K USP variant 1, and it had the decocking on it. And I'm doing my rounds, go to decock, it fires a round up. I'm like, what the, of course, guys on the range are like going, they're looking at me like going, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It wasn't me." And shoot some more targets. I decock it, shoots another round, but somebody was watching. He goes to the sergeant that was running. He's like, "Yeah, I saw it." And he decocks about every fourth one fires off around. He goes, "You got to get rid of this." So I get a hold of H&K, and I'm like going, I got to send this back. It's faulty. And they're like, "No, it can't be faulty." So I send it back. They call me, it's a broken searing pin for the trigger. And I'm like, for the decock to the trigger. And I'm like, well, that shouldn't go bad ever.
Right.
I mean, ever. Well, you've got like 1,000 rounds in it. So I'm like,
1,000?
what?
That's it?
That's it? I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? And
That's the first hour.
Yeah, exactly.
right. You know, and the funny thing is, it's like going, well, and they made all these excuses. I'm like, I'm a police officer. And all of a sudden it just went, oh, you are? You're,
Yeah.
And so then they fixed it, sent it back. I had to spend like $75, you know, this is years ago, for, you know, to have
Shipping
it sent back to
handling.
me. And then we went right to Glock. And, you know, so I sold these two, and then I got a Glock, I think it was a Glock 23.
40 cal.
40 cal. Yeah. And then we had the 9 cal. So we had Glock 17s that we carried. And so I'm like, these aren't bad. I like the fact that there's no, a mechanism that decocks. There's no safety mechanism. It's you pull and shoot. And that's it. And I loved it. I loved it. In fact, I wanted to take that Glock 17 with me because I had it for 12 years. And they're like, yeah, no.
My first one was a 1911 in the Army with this serial number that was so old it was probably went through Vietnam.
I was gonna say, weren't you in Vietnam? Okay.
Yeah, I got my carry in 2007, and I bought a police gun, or I think it was an Air Force, but it's a 40 cal Beretta, no safety on it.
No safety.
So,
I remember that one. That was a pretty.
It's got to be a
nice
military or police.
You live in California. You don't need a safety.
Oh, dude.
It's California.
I'm not admitting if I still have it or not because I could get in trouble.
I was going to say, do you still have it? Just wink twice if you do.
No.
I lost it in a boating accident.
Yes.
So what?
No, wait.
Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
I don't.
No, I don't have it. What's your preferred carry now?
What's that?
What's your preferred carry now?
So my EDC is usually it's a Glock 19 or a Shadow Systems, pretty much the same gun. Like Brett was saying, I just want to squeeze the trigger and go. I'll carry it Mexican style, so I don't put it in a holster. But then I know that there's not one in the chamber because I don't want to shoot my boys off. But if I do carry appendix in a holster, there's usually one in the chamber. It just depends on how I decide to go out throughout the day.
So I wanted to ask a question because I've been in law enforcement and public safety for a long time, and we had to train all the time. But if you were following that story of the grandmother who got kidnapped out of Arizona, I know Patrick's been following that, but they showed the guy coming up on the ring camera, and he's got it like right in front of his junk. I mean, I know that you do a lot of the stuff, for me, law enforcement, we do it a completely different way. Have you ever come across anything that's even remotely like that?
As far as somebody carrying like that, or myself?
Yeah. Cause I know they talked about it on the news. Cause he had the holster right in front of his junk and it's there. I have never seen anything like that. But yeah, I got to ask, since we have, a professional that, kind of deals with people outside of law enforcement as well.
It's a pretty common position. So appendix is it's a very fast position to acquire.
Well, I think that's different though, what he's saying, because he said his front, because the inguinal carry, because there's a gap there. There's that line, right? Is that what you're talking about right there?
No,
or
I mean, like, you can actually get a holster that, it's pointing at you guys. You got a magazine and a gun. And it's a really easy position to access. Some people argue with 3 o'clock, some people argue with appendix, but when you really when you take the timer out and you start doing rounds and you start racing against the timer and you got somebody else in front of you that's either pulling from the 3 or pulling from appendix, it is a very fast position to acquire a gun. It's also a very comfortable position because, some people can't get their gun on their 3 o'clock. So they put it in their appendix. It's easily also on a 3 o'clock position, you can print too. Like you can see the gun handle pretty good. And if you're carrying a pretty small pistol in a holster, the signature of it is pretty minimal on an appendix position. So a lot of people go to appendix.
Yeah, so I
So
carry appendix.
when you're drinking at the bar and you go out for a duel, you have to both agree to be 3 o'clock or appendix when you do the draw, right? You do 10 paces, turn, and
Yep.
boom.
Yep.
Like, when you're out behind 1029 bar.
Okay, and it's got to be hollow point because you can't be shooting the people behind you. So there's some rules to this.
The thing is, I thought it was weird because the media has no idea, and they're like, oh, well, he must not know what he's doing because nobody carries it that way. But
yes,
and the thing is, and I thought, well, I've never seen it because law enforcement, we just don't carry that way. But I thought this would be, you're just it would be so quick to just bring it
trying
up.
to throw people off.
I think, but was he carrying it right here?
Yeah, right in front of the
Right
junk.
in front.
Right.
Yeah, so I carry it right here, which is
still pointing at you.
because it's still pointing at my junk, but it's at an angle where it's just a pull and it comes out. But right here, is that what you're talking about? Is like going straight?
No, it was like
I don't know what he's.
it was like straight down. You could see him on the door camera, the ring camera, and it was like right in front there. But I could see how you could all you have to do is just flip it, and you're already firing rounds.
That's
out.
belly button carry.
So I thought, with the media saying he doesn't know what he's doing, I'm like, I kind of disagreed with. I've never seen it done that way, but I kept thinking that is a quick. You're already firing rounds off where I've got to come back this way, bring it back up, and now I got to get my line of sight and fire rounds off. This would be just a flick, and you're already hitting, the midsection.
Yeah,
so
it really does depend on the context of the situation.
Mike, it seems like you kind of took the path I wanted to. So when I was 15, 16, I worked at Montgomery Ward, and I was like working in the men's department.
Oh my God, I worked at Montgomery Ward too.
Yeah.
Seriously, it did.
There was a loss prevention guy there. And at the time, I was also a St. Louis Park Police Explorer. And I did have law enforcement as one of my career options. And the guy that was doing the loss prevention, he was going to school to be a Secret Serviceman, and he actually completed that. And but yeah, I was like thinking that would have been the coolest path to take in law enforcement is to be Secret Service. And I noticed on your bio, you've protected many senator, assembly persons. Do you have any like big time stories or just stories in general about protecting, people in our government?
That you can talk about?
Yeah.
Protection work is really interesting because people think it's super glamorous, and it's really not that glamorous. No. It's not. You go around, you make sure you do your advance work, you
route work,
ingress, egress routes, things like that. You've got
for the people that are interested but don't know, what is ingress, egress, and route work?
So ingress just means what route are you going to take on the way in, and you have to have 2 alternate routes, right? And you on the way out, in case something does happen or something doesn't happen, you have 2 exit routes. You never drive the same route each way. Like if you have to make multiple stops at one location, you don't take the same route in, and you don't take the same route out. So it's good to have an A, B, and C option in and out all the time. So ingress means in, egress means out. Advanced work just means like you go out the day before, you spend some time out there, you communicate with local law enforcement, you establish a relationship, and you say, I'll be out here doing this. This is what I'm doing. I'm working with this campaign. Here's the manager. My name's so-and-so. And you establish a relationship that way. So that way, when you get there, they're not surprised that there's a guy there who's armed and security. So they actually know who you are.
You're also eyeballing the staff and the guy that runs the cash register at the cafe in the building. You're like, that guy.
It's actually, when you do this line of work, you start to, and we had talked about Chase Hughes.
Yep.
You start to you get really good at reading people.
Get a spidey sense.
Yeah. There are a lot of people out there. Paul Ekman's really good at facial recognition. And he talks about microexpressions and how microexpressions are connected to the limbic system, limbic brain, right? Limbic brain controls motor patterns. So you can't necessarily hide. So when your people are talking and you look at them and you ask them a question and you get a certain reaction, stuff happens so fast with microexpressions that people, they kind of bypass it and they go, I don't know what that is. And then later on down the road, like
they go, oh,
yeah, exactly. You go, that guy was really nervous.
Yeah.
10 minutes, 20 minutes later, but you didn't catch it. So the job of like our job and any protection job is you're out there you're proactive, looking for problems. And I mean problems like who's nervous, who's fidgety, who could possibly be carrying a gun. Like we go to a lot of Republican conventions.
Right.
There's a lot of guns. I mean,
So there's got to be a lot of, kind of psychology, behavioral.
Oh, that's all it is.
stuff
Yep, that's all it is. Yep,
you're doing, right?
Mhm.
yep. And so the same thing is they do it at airports. They do it on cameras, and they can pick out people.
Mhm.
That's who they pick out in line. They just like, oh, you're gonna get your bag checked because they're calling through, and they say, check that guy, check that guy. So this it's all very, very, very scientific, and they've been studying this stuff.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean,
Yep.
part of I was training for, because where I worked, we did a lot of mass transit stuff.
Yeah.
So we had to be right on top of the part of the terrorist stuff that was, coming through the pike. And we even had to have, to go to the airport, and everything was fixed up. And it's like, who can actually act like a terrorist and not get caught? And everyone got caught.
Yep.
Literally everyone. I mean, they were so good. What the people that are watching are so good at, how the behaviors are. It was incredible. I mean, you couldn't be there more than 15, 20 seconds, and then somebody's already coming up and talking to you. And it was incredible. So
Yeah, I watch a lot of Facebook or whatever social media reels, but they're more about job interview behaviors and body postures and dating, and just if it's just subtly. If a girl's into you, she's going to kind of tilt a little bit like this because she's feeling less vulnerable. She's not going to be front forward at you. And I just like saw one today. If your earlobe to your shoulder is down, that's anxious, right? If you're like this is confident. So I just love that. That could be a hobby of mine, is studying those tips and tricks and those poker reads and all that stuff. I find that fascinating.
So the training, that you're doing, and the people that you're training, they're obviously different levels. Tell us about that a little bit.
So, you get a lot of people come in that have preconceived notions about guns and what they see in the movies and all this kind of stuff. So it doesn't matter what level they are. I try to get a baseline just to see how much information they know. Do they have this correct lingo, like verbiage, language? Do they know the nomenclature of the pistol or handgun or whatever we're working with? And then it'll give me an idea of, okay, you really don't know what you're talking about. So we'll just start at ground zero. If somebody comes in and says, hey, I've actually had people go, oh, I was a police officer. No offense, Brett. But they come in and they say,
none taken.
I was a police
Seriously, none taken.
I was a police officer. I'm like, oh, okay. And they pick up the pistol. I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna revamp this whole thing. But typically what happens is, like, I've got a pistol here. I'd put the pistol on the table and I'm like, this is the nomenclature.
Yep.
Right. Slide, trigger guard, trigger, magazine. I always say magazine, don't say clip, because it just
do not ever say clip.
Yep.
Clip is World War II. It was that no clip. It's magazine.
I played Call of Duty with some guys that were in the military, and he's like, God damn it, it's not a clip, it's a magazine, and they're not bullets, they're rounds.
Yeah.
He was really particular about it. I was like, Jesus, it's a video game, man. Shit.
So
I've literally made videos and I had to take people out of the videos because they say clip. Like,
yeah. You have your equipment here.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little, give the folks
I gotta
show here?
But I gotta say a Rick Fay joke, because he does this all the time. He goes, your magazine hand. No, your magazine hand. Not that magazine.
Thank God we're 18 plus here, right?
That does sound like a Rick Fay joke.
I always
And we've
love
talked
that
about
Rick Fay
Rick
joke.
Fay a couple of times previously, but we probably want to remind the audience who the hell that is. But we
You got a
can talk
clip
about
of
that
Rick
later.
Fay that we could just pop up?
Oh my God.
Yeah, just pop Rick Fay's face.
We had Rick Fay on the show, and for people that don't know,
Rick Fay changed both of our lives tremendously, and
That's how we met.
that's how we met. And Rick Fay is, he's bar none one of the. You know what? I told Rick this before. I don't. Maybe I've told him.
We're giving Rick
Maybe
props.
not. Yeah, giving Rick props. But I've had a lot of instructors in my life. I mean, I've been to college forever and through the military. He's just one of the best instructors I've ever had, one of the best teachers, but just because of the way he delivers content, the way he talks about things, the way he, all of it is just, it's just tremendous. And I try to get to that level because you always want to make your students laugh and have a fun time and all that.
Well, that was one of the first things he said to me. He's like, just make sure people have a good time and they laugh. And I was like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
But it was, he is the reason why, or where I am today. Without Rick, I would not be the individual I am. And
I just pulled him up on my screen, Brett, if you want.
There he is.
Yeah, there's Rick. And and he's, I said it once before when he came into the podcast here. I literally equated it to, as a martial artist, it was like meeting the president of the United States. I mean, seriously, to have someone that's that famous and that level, and coming into, my own home and, being part of the podcast, it was an honor.
It was really funny. I was in Japan,
really cool.
real quick story. I was in Japan and I saw a JKD thing in an elevator, right? A JKD poster of training. So I told Risa, my cousin, I said, hey, bring me there. I want to train, right? But don't say anything about me. I don't want to say anything about me. And went in and started training. They wouldn't let me train at first. There's this like, no, we don't want you to train. And she said,
because he looks shifty. Yeah. That's why.
Yeah.
You're half American.
And there's a picture, actually, there's a picture of Dan on the wall.
Oh.
And so I said, and they finally let me train. And then all of a sudden the guy that the owner, he like runs over to Risa and just starts talking to him again because they want to know where I came from. And then, she said he's a instructor for Rick Fay, and they knew exactly who it was.
Was it Takashi or something?
No. This was in Fukuoka.
Oh, okay.
So this was like way outside the realm of anybody that, and we became friends.
I'm sharing something again.
It was pretty fun.
Brett,
So
if you want to switch it.
There we go.
I don't know who this cat is, but you said JKD. And
I've seen him before. Yeah.
There's so many people into it now. It's kind of fun. But so you, the training that you do, you're training a lot of stuff though. You're not just training the asset protection. You're training all sorts of different things with the martial arts and
I try to look at it like this. It's like if you're going to be if you're a warrior, right?
Yes,
you have the warrior mentality, then you should be well versed in every art weapon possible. And I have gone back to a friend of mine owns a karate school in Richfield, and I go teach kali there. But I look at karate and I'm like, I used to give karate a bunch of crap, but it's like, you know what? I really like it. There are some great things about karate that I'm like, I wish that schools would have carried on some of those katas and forms and traditions. But for kids and developing
structure
and
discipline.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's
bar none. You don't get the discipline that you get in from any other martial arts than the Japanese martial arts. Because Japanese martial arts, Japanese are very disciplined and structured. And I always believe, and Rick always instilled this in us, every martial arts has something to offer you. And it's not about the system. Well, it is about the system, but the practitioner who does it and how you implement it. And I think that's JKD in and of itself. Right?
He always, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, and things changed. I mean, back in the day, I remember when the Karate Kid came out then all of these studios and everybody was all, hey, karate. It was, it was like a different thing. But now it's a lot more geared towards the kids. I mean, the parents want to show the kids discipline and they want to show the kids how to do stuff in that terms. And things have
provided
changed.
A great joke for about the wax on and wax off. I mean, that provided comedic
wax on.
One of the
content for years.
One of my biggest pet peeves though is when I see karate, right? And I go in and look and they're doing taekwondo. Like, okay, different country.
Well, Americans they kind of bastardized the term.
They did.
Like, oh, let's do karate.
So let's look at some of your training. So Patrick, you have some video. Pat, why don't you lead us in?
Okay, so this particular video is just talking about how the gun malfunctions, and it's a lot easier than you think it is. Now, the context of the situation is not easy. I'm just trying to get people to understand that when you grab the gun and the person who is pulling the trigger pulls the trigger. The gun doesn't cycle, therefore it renders the gun useless and it's out of batteries, or it renders the gun useless. So you have to tap it, rack it in order to make it operational again.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing that I have heard from people is like, oh, I'll just keep pulling the trigger. It's like, if you know, there's a lot of good guys out there teaching gun defense. And it's like, we all know that if you stick the gun into the ribs of somebody, a semi-automatic pistol,
Mm-hmm.
and you pull that trigger, you got one shot because the gun's not going to cycle correctly, and then the gun's rendered useless. So I'm trying in this video. I'm giving the example of, okay, I'm going to grab the gun. Don't do this at home. Chris pulls the trigger, and it just renders the gun useless. So let's take a look here.
Action.
All right. So we talked about this in the car with the discharge of the round. So you get one round gun malfunction. So we're going to kind of run through that drill. We're going to run through it live fire. I just want you guys to actually see this because a lot of people don't think that this is actually accurate, but us in the gun world, we know that this is accurate with a semi-automatic weapon. It's different with a revolver. Okay, a revolver does a completely different thing. You have to grab different parts of the revolver, but we're going to demonstrate this. So what we're going to do is Chris is going to present his gun. I'm going to stand 90 degrees from him. I don't want to be in front of the firing line. So as he presents his pistol, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually grab the muzzle of the gun. Go ahead and put your finger on the trigger. Okay, so I grab the muzzle of the gun like this. Okay, now I want you to watch. He's going to shoot one round. Ready? Go high. My hand didn't come flying off. Now, is that gun operational? Go ahead and pull the trigger. It's not operational. What do we have to do to get it back into operation? You have to tap the magazine. You have to rack the slide. Go ahead and fire one round. Operation. So the misconception of if you grab a gun, he's going to be able to keep shooting, that's not true. We just proved that point. So when we go back into the car situation, Chris, and he's presenting his gun, and Chris ended up grabbing the gun. Okay, you get one shot, and then you're beating the freaking shit out of the guy in the car. There's a lot of good guys out there that teach up close and personal. Craig Douglas is one, Todd Fosse is one, Chris is one, and we all say the same thing. It's like you have to understand that once the gun goes bang, and it is not, well, first of all, guns are distance weapons.
Right.
So if it's up close and personal and the gun goes bang and you have a hold of it, you have a good opportunity to start defending yourself, you know, smashing and defending yourself.
That's very interesting because I thought I was well versed. I went through the 8-hour training for the carry permit, and I was a police explorer, and I did shooting competitions and all of that. I did not even realize what you just explained. So for me, it's got a kind of a reverse effect because it's like always like I don't ever want to pull my gun in a close quarter situation because I don't want it to be taken from me and used against me, right? That's the worst possible scenario. So like you said, it's a distance weapon. If I'm going to use it, I should use it at a safe distance so I don't get it used at. But I'm going to kind of flip it on that thinking now. It's like if I do decide to grab a guy pointing a gun at me, I know he's got one shot. It goes in the ground and then click, click, click. And I'm like, you're mine, mother, boom. So, I mean, I'm not saying that's what anyone should ever do, but I didn't even realize that was a possibility until you just showed that video.
Part of that refiring, obviously, is the slide has to go all the way back.
Right.
Okay.
That's what chambers
chambers the new round. And if that, and you're not allowing it, obviously. So that old round is still in there. And the only thing you can do is grab the top of their hand maybe and push your hand forward to get another round if possible. But
the hard thing to try to explain to people is like you're mentally, you're conditioned to move away from the gun. And when, people want to get close with guns, like they'll stick guns in people's faces. And it's like, it takes a lot of training to program yourself to go towards the gun, to close the disc. Same thing with a knife.
Same thing with a knife, and the same thing with a collie stick, right? Is going into it and stopping that motion.
Yeah, because you think if I'm outside of his gun or if I just try to run away, I'll be safe. And it's not necessarily the case, which we get into, also, it was funny. Go ahead.
I was going to say, for you being a professional, and somebody sticks that gun and you're grabbing on that slide and you're pushing that slide back slightly, what does that do to the gun if the person pulls that trigger?
That's a movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the practicality, if you really do think about it, if you do grab the gun and they pull the gun out of battery and they pull the trigger, the gun's going to go click.
Well, wouldn't it double feed?
No, it wouldn't double feed. It would just go click because the gun is out of battery.
Right.
Unless the only way for it to double feed was if it actually fully cycled and somehow the round in the chamber didn't eject and it just got jammed up with the second round going in the chamber. But in a situation like that, when you're trying to protect yourself, shit is happening. Like life is happening at life
so fast.
Right.
And you just start grabbing stuff and you might not even know,
and you're shitting your pants.
You are shitting your pants. Like you want to get that gun away from you and try to control in the knife, you want to try to control the knife or the appendage that's
holding the knife.
Exactly. So it's, that's a very advanced course that we were doing. We had a course called CTAC and we were trying to get people to come through it so they would have some sort of idea of okay, I got my permit to carry. I'm doing enough training now. What's going to happen when I take it out and somebody wants to take it from me? Okay. Or maybe somebody draws a gun. I had a buddy come to my house when I was living in St. Louis Park. He was the largest man that I've ever seen. And he had 3 dudes come up on him. And the one guy walked up on him with a gun and stuck his 9mm in his face. And thankfully, when he put the gun on his chest, he slipped on the ice. So Andrew grabbed him and literally smashed him into the ground and stripped the gun out of him. But that's an example of how people want to get close with guns. It's not like in the movies.
It's an intimidation tactic, and it is part of the animal behavior of wanting to put your chest into their chest. It's the exact same thing. Is I want to get in your face and I want to intimidate you, and that right there shows an untrained person because a trained person would never ever do that. It's so far from it. So that somebody's untrained when they stick their gun in your range to get your hands there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of follows, if you remember that Brooklyn park officer
Yes.
That was getting, just tuned by the guy and they tried taking his gun. He drove it into the ground and fired around so he could take it out of battery. So he could, and the guy grabbed the gun. He was unable because he had no knowledge of the gun itself, to tap it, rack it, and then shoot. Well, he's couldn't do anything, and it saved his life.
And this goes back to the other female cop that shot that kid.
Yes.
Right. So, but a lot of people don't understand motor error, and motor error. That's what I study in kinesiology. Is motor error is how, and you don't know how that signal is going to be sent if you don't train it and you don't solidify that line of your motor unit training all the time. And I mean training all the time, and to rely on just automaticity. That's the thing. And people don't understand what it takes to get to automaticity, right?
Yeah. Well, so there are a couple, this is one of the things that I like to tell people. You come into this situation, right, and you train, and there is a term that I like to use. It's a psychological term, and it's called conscious incompetence. And
Yep, absolutely.
So anybody that comes in, they're consciously incompetent. You got to kind of fumble through the drill. And you kind of go, okay, I figured this out. And then next there's
consciously competent.
Consciously competent. So now you know what you're doing.
Yep.
Right.
Then followed by
unconsciously competent.
Exactly. So you want to get to the point where you're unconsciously competent with a weapon or your hands or whatever it is with your training. Now, a lot of people say that you always fall back to your lowest level of training. So I tell people your lowest level of training should be the higher than any motherfucker out there.
Right.
And so when you have to fall back on that training, it's like SEALs and operators and, you're really good SWAT guys and law enforcement. It's like, if you are training every day and you are installing those motor patterns and that unconscious competence into your system, that's what you're going to fall back on.
Yep. And here's what other people don't really understand, especially in movement or athletics or this, is that there's that with large motor groups and there's that with fine motor groups.
Yeah.
And fine motor groups takes a lot more repetition and understanding than gross motor moves.
Well, and that goes without saying. I mean, gross motor movements are like the big things that you do with your hands, where, when you get stressed out, you fall back on those gross motor skills, and the finite ones are the ones that you have to train.
Those are all
the time.
fine motors is fingers and hands. And gross is all large muscle groups.
Well, even when you're talking about gross motor skills, even as a police officer, gross motor skills would have been like grabbing the gun and getting the gun up and not getting the finger in there. The minutia of that is getting that finger in, making it sure they're getting on target, breathing out, taking the shot. So you have to train that constantly.
The gross
all of the time.
The gross is getting here.
Right.
The fine is grabbing it. Just the grab itself.
Right.
Just is like, because I've missed it. It's like shit. You miss it. This right here, peck and try or trap is all gross, and then just touching that thing is fine.
Well, and that's the psychology of it.
Yeah.
Because when you start narrowing things down, and when your brain starts shutting things down for you to manage the situation, unless you have muscle memory from that repetition, it's all going to be gross motor skills that you're doing.
And don't they say like you're going to get tunnel vision, you're going to get laser
always.
focus? Like,
No, there's not focus. It's nothing. It's blur.
You're going to lose all sorts of cognitive stuff.
Yeah,
You're not going to, even though you're
drunk.
trained to think about the background before you shoot, you're still going to that's just going to go.
I just tell everybody, it's like funny. It's like you don't even need to go to the gun range to train to shoot a gun.
No, not at all.
Not at all. It's just get the thing out. That's it. Get it out fast. Just like when I'm doing knife and I'm teaching knife, it has no matter on cutting. Get that thing out once. Get it out under pressure.
Well, you can't assume in someone's hands too. And like you see those videos of those guys that are so cool. Like someone like, I'm gonna point a gun at you, and they just go, and it's like gone. They know the angle, and they're gonna break the elbow and push it aside and take the gun, rack it, and put it at the the offender's face. Like I see those videos too. It's really, I mean, that's obviously training, but that happens too, and it's like, wow, that's a level I can't even imagine.
Even when I was a cop, I would do a lot of dry firing, just like what you're saying. A lot of dry firing. Before I start my shift, I do 20 dry fires. Boom, rack, put it in. Boom, rack. 20 before my shift.
It's a lot.
So ready. That's
the thing too. Like gangsters, we all know gangsters and criminals are really bad shots because they go like this, right? They go bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, they throw their rounds downrange. They curve their bullet.
And when I was doing competitive pistol shooting, it's one pinky in the wrong spot, or one twitch, or one gripping too tight.
It's a heart rate. It's a heart rate or a breath.
Yeah.
So there's a video that I just posted.
Goes into accuracy.
Oh yeah, dude. There's a video that I just posted on Facebook, and we're down in Florida and we're doing some shooting. It's a steel match. I hired a coach. My lady and I hired a coach, and Jeff Jones is fucking awesome. So when we got down there, the course it's called Accelerator, right? You got a shot. You have at 10 yards, you've got a 10-inch plate. At 13 yards, you've got a 12 by 12 plate. And then way off in the corner, you've got another 12 by 12 plate. And then you got to come back. If that corner shot is about 20 yards, and then you got to hit another 10-inch plate at 20 and another hit 10-inch at 20. So
3.9 seconds?
3.5.
I saw that video.
Yeah, I sent it to both of them.
Yeah, I was really impressed. I mean,
ping, 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 ping.
It was, you could hear the metal with each shot, and I mean, it was like it was effortless. It wasn't like you were just, trying to do the John Wick.
Very smooth. Yeah,
it was smooth. It was bringing it out. You're on target. Boom, boom, and it was so quick but effortless. And that's the one thing I think people don't understand. They watch the movies and they think that it's John Wick firing rounds off and he's just going to hit everything. And it's not it. I mean, it takes a lot.
Here's a big problem with it, though. This is a big problem with it. Here's the big problem with that. What he does is that how much is one round?
Oh, God.
Well, a 45.
25 cents.
Huh?
25
cents. Every time you pull the trigger is 25 cents.
Well, it's $9. What's $10 a box of rounds or something like that? So what's 10 divided by 50? 50.
Yeah. So then, and I sent you that one video. Yeah. It's like you're throwing thousands of rounds down range to get to that precision. That's
well,
what's
you
the
got
thing.
to remember,
But-
it takes a minimum of 1,000 repetitions for you to get muscle memory. Minimum. That's the minimum.
I'm going to tell you this though.
So
That is very accurate. And then to recorrect or correct any sort of bad mistake, it takes 5 repetitions, slow, precise repetitions to start to even ingrain the neural pathway to correct the bad mechanics.
Right.
Yep.
So for people out there who are wondering like, oh, okay, well, I don't have to go to a gun range. It's like, so training tools that you can buy. You can go to next level training and get a SIRT pistol. A SIRT pistol is just a laser pistol. You pull the trigger, a laser comes out. It's shaped like a Glock. It's shaped like a SIG. Great training tool. It fits in any holster. That's a Glock holster, a SIG holster. So, that was one of the things when I started shooting. My instructors were like, you need to be in the dry fire room every day shooting X amount of hours on dry fire. And then it was, now you got to move in dry fire. Now you got to get up and down dry fire. Now you got to do scenarios in dry fire. Dry fire. And dry fire just means no bullets in the chamber, right? For the rifle, there's a program called Mantis X. The magazine that goes in the rifle is actually Bluetooth battery.
Yep.
And then the bolt comes out of the upper receiver and is replaced by a laser. And when they connect, the trigger resets, and you can just sit there and do dry fire with the rifle.
that's amazing. Actually,
That thing right there.
that's amazing.
Yeah, that thing right there. I've taken people who cannot shoot a rifle to save their fucking lives.
Well, and that's got to take away that anticipation where people are dropping because they're anticipating that recoil.
Just breathe.
I mean, it's got to be
Finger pull.
Yeah.
The great thing about the Mantis program is it shows where your muzzle is tracking.
Yep.
Right.
So when you got that rifle up and you go, okay, and it's got a shot timer, it goes beep, and you shoot one round, it'll say, your muzzle is tracking down to the left, which means you're pulling with your support hand.
Right.
Right. So it's a really great system. So when people say, well, I need to go to the gun range and shoot, it's like, no. 70% of your training should be done
Without
any sort of ammunition whatsoever.
But even, it's funny.
I had
Go
asked,
ahead, Patrick.
Stacy, sorry, I don't want to. I'd asked these guys earlier if they were watching the Winter Olympics in a previous episode, and they were kind of like, no, but they do have the biathlon, and so they're cross country skiing, and then they stop and shoot, and like Stacy had just pointed out a minute or two ago, like even a wrong breath. So when you think about, they are exerting probably the most aerobic activity you can do, and then to stop and go,
It's your heart rate too.
just laser precision. They're just like ting, ting, ting.
Yep.
Ting. Like it's
You're shooting-
incredible.
you're
When you
shooting
think
between your
about
heart
the
rate.
exertion they're already doing,
Yep.
and the ability to stay still while their heart rate is 170.
Right.
It's crazy, right? Like, how do you explain that? How do they get that good at shooting? I mean, people don't probably even understand it.
If you guys haven't seen this before, check out the tactical games. Tactical games is like it's a combination of CrossFit and shooting. I met the guy, I was down in Florida during the 2020. I got the pleasure to shoot with some very high level guys down there. And I met this guy, Tim Burke, and Tim Burke started the tactical games back in 2020.
Right.
And I remember him telling me, he's like, this thing, we'll see how this goes, and we'll figure out how maybe it'll grow, maybe it won't. And I was standing at his place, and he was talking about some of the things that we were doing, and I'd never seen the tactical games. I started watching some of the videos. I'm like, that shit is awesome. So you got a sandbag, you got to run with your rifle strapped across your back. You got a sandbag, you got to pick up the sandbag, a 50-pound sandbag. You got to run 100 yards, and you got to go prone position. You got to shoot a 12x12 steel target at 100 yards. Then you got to get up and run over, climb a rope into a tower, shoot again from another 100 yards, come back down, and then run through a pistol steel course.
Yep.
That shit right there.
Yep.
That's crazy.
High level.
Or you could have a hand grenade and you
But that's the thing is like, in training as we do as personal trainers and training the high level athletes, that is a high level athlete in every motor pattern and every heartbeat and every breath is accounted for.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're always doing everything now. So where are you at now? In your training, just like Collie, right? We're training here at different levels, right? And you're getting up there. You're up there already on the top. The precise training and now sorry to say this we're looking at age, right? We're getting
You will
older.
always be older than I am.
yes. So now I look at my martial arts. It's like shit. I have to let a lot of stuff go.
Yeah, dude.
I still have more hair.
They did
So-
the awards. I found out when I came in.
And we're both
I
trying to
was-
look at it.
I was pretty happy.
What do we got going
I
on?
wasn't expecting to win overall
this is the
anyway, so I was
Tactical games.
pretty happy with the results at the end of it.
Every stage was fun. Every stage had its own unique challenge, right? So whether you were moving implements or you
you
had
enjoy
to
that?
step
I can
over
do that?
rocks or whatever it was, they were all fun and unique in their own way. Everyone had each other's backs, rooting for each other.
Yeah, it's kind of like a promo video right there, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Is that something that you're going to do, or have you done?
I have not done it because tactical games usually run in the southeast. And so I'm not made of money right now. And so it's hard to get down there. Plus it's a lot of, it's just a lot, it's a lot of money to do. But there's a couple guys that I know up here that that's what they did. They sold their business and retired. And I think this guy, Brett, he's probably 60 something and he just doesn't.
Whoa. Wait. Guy named Brett who's about 6.
It's you.
It's you.
I swear to God.
So how about you? When you're not doing this anymore, are you thinking about that? I mean, getting a piece of land in Wisconsin or northern Minnesota and having your own
I'm not going to be in Minnesota much longer.
range in
Come on
Florida,
up.
wherever. I mean,
Well,
Sacramento's
Florida,
amazing.
I'm telling you, it's weird because I'm like, I'm not going to go to Florida. And then a few bad winters when you're in your 50s and you're like, Florida sounds really,
but you do all your,
really good.
you do winter training. You do.
I don't know. I
I'm
don't.
in California and I want to go to Florida. I'm telling you.
Good man.
I'm serious.
You got the weather, you just don't have the government.
I'm so embarrassed
Yeah.
in Minnesota. I don't tell people I'm from here anymore. It's like I'm from Clearwater Beach. They're like,
I
"Oh, okay."
I don't blame you. I don't
blame
blame
you
you
at
at all. It's
So
the craziness is just
So
insane.
what is on your agenda? Let's see some of your stuff here first.
So it's a 511 belt. It's I've got a belt on that just I can't remember the name of it actually. It's a 511 tactical belt or whatever we want to call it. But it all depends on the situation again. Most
'Cause, I mean,
Scenario.
you've got a bunch of tacos here. I mean, you're geared up. Does that kind of weigh down on your hips? Do you wear Molly, like a Molly vest, or anything like that sometimes? Or is this your
Tacos and mollies, guys, you lost me. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. So let's we break that down a little bit, unpack that one a little bit.
so
What's a taco?
taco is something that you can purchase at Taco Bell. It's very tasty. You've got a wide variety of things that you can try. So this is my duty pistol currently. It is a Walther PDP. It is the PDP X Pro X.
Jesus.
Yep. It's got a Holosun 509 enclosed sight on it.
And it looks like something Han Solo would wear.
That
Oh,
thing
look
is
at that. Jeez.
that is one of the coolest guns I've ever shot. It's actually one of the most accurate
Can I
and
take a look at it?
fun guns. That
No, for safety purposes, you're supposed to put the finger on the trigger and point it.
Okay, now we have checked it. This is clear.
It's clear.
Yep, it's clear.
It's clear.
Clear.
But
Clear,
for
clear.
you,
Yep.
for everyone to see,
How do you know?
this gun is. I mean,
We still don't like being downrange.
tactical guns are going. God damn, that's a tactical gun. I mean, this is
Is that a custom, like rubber,
definitely the
foam,
Yep.
padded grip? Like, Jesus Christ, that
Yes.
looks amazing. That
So-
looks better than my car. I got a 2012 Dodge Avenger, and that's like probably better than my car. He's like, yeah.
that is a Walther PDP Pro X.
Jesus.
It has a gas pedal on the side, helps with recoil management. It's probably one of the best triggers out of the box, so you don't have to do much to it.
right.
Very accurate.
Is that a light underneath it?
Yes, that's
And what kind of sight do you got? You got a badass sight on that too, don't you?
that's an enclosed Holosun 509.
God damn, that seriously, it looks like Call of Duty pistols.
It is a Call-
Which is,
That's what
which
they
is
get it,
funny
yep.
because what you've got going on now is what most law enforcement is going to. Like now, you already have the law enforcement stuff. The law enforcement is now going to. I mean, this is like the top of the line.
Holograph,
you
red
know.
dot, green dot, whatever you want dot.
Yeah.
Along
Yeah.
with a
Well, people-
flashlight,
here's what-
laser precision, like whatever, man.
Here's what
Like,
people can appreciate: the heaviest thing on this sidearm is the flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel. Everything else is light. it will obviously when you put the mag in, it's going to be a different story. But that right there is that's a piece of machinery right there.
Well,
and you carry that. So do you carry that at 3:00 like you were talking about? Because that seems like a lot of gun to have in front of your junk. But
so this one is the SIG, the other one that I carry. That is the SIG.
Quite a bit heavier.
Yep,
quite a bit heavier.
Steel frame.
Steel. That's the steel frame. Yep.
Steel frame. That's the SIG 211 GTO. Kind of looks similar, but different gun. It's kind of got for people that don't know, it's like a classic 1911 sort of look to it. It's a hammer fire. It's got a hammer on it.
why don't you put that right in front here, and people can see the kind of the difference between the two.
That's much heavier. So what's the weight difference on that?
Oh, I don't know. I just
That's quite a bit.
Oh yeah, we're talking a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 211 is it's an extremely accurate gun because it's got all that mass behind it.
I'll tell you, just holding these guns, the grip itself feels like it's part of your hand.
Yeah.
I mean, this is incredible.
I was going to say, that's what I noticed.
Even in
the grip, it was like, holy shit,
even in law enforcement, it didn't even feel anything like it. This feels like it's an extension of my hand.
Yeah. So people don't understand that law enforcement is law enforcement, and there's just a specific use, and it's barely used. Where tactile, when you're doing that, it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah, and I use them. My guns I use on a consistent basis, and people are like, "Well, do you clean your guns all the time?" No, I don't clean my guns all the time. I probably should clean. Like that 2011 is super particular, so I got to keep it clean. This Walther, I'll rub it down on the inside and spray it with oil. But this PCC that's in this bag down here, it's an AR PCC. I barely clean that thing.
Well, that's like the Glock. It's like the Glock. I mean, I
never clean my Glock.
Never. I mean, it's like almost you don't want to clean it. It's just it works.
So that is the Shadow Systems, which is like a Glock replica.
Yep.
I never clean that thing. I mean, I'll wipe the inside down. People are like, "Oh, it's $1,000 gun." I'm like, "Yeah, I bought it to shoot it, not stick it in my drawer and look at it."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
what other toys you get? When we started the episode, you had like a rack of.
No,
you had a magazine.
Hey, don't say that word.
Rounds. Sorry, rack.
As long as you don't say clip.
Man. You had a clip of bullets, man. I saw the clip, man.
Oh, the clip.
Oh, I'm gonna have to like.
I was in a different rack. Sorry.
I know that pisses you off. That's why I said it, just to have fun.
Well, you can say rack because you are racking the slide.
Yeah, well,
that's fine.
Yeah,
you just don't say the clip because that means that you have a gun that's pre or post.
But he had some pretty big ammo. It looked like 7.62 or something. Like what?
Oh, this is this is what's.
I gave him a little present.
The belt. It was a belt.
Yeah, that was a little present I gave him because, I was a soldier and.
It's a belt fed.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's a belt fed PDP that looks like that.
Yeah. What gun? It's not gonna fit in there.
Some liberal is gonna be like, "Oh my god, it's a semi.
It's gonna shoot
fully semi-auto.
It's fully semi-automatic.
Fully semi-automatic.
1,000 rounds a second.
Yeah, these are high capacity rounds.
No, so it's funny because he's a big guy. People don't know or they can tell. Obviously, he's a big guy, but you have a certain grip that you like. Okay, I'm not. My hand's not that big, so I had to go. And I don't like to when I carry. It's different than that. It's tactical. When I carry, I don't want to show. A silhouette or anything like that. So I keep it to a place where you can't. And it's small. I only have 7 rounds, and that's it. But this is completely different when you're holding at 3:00, and you need a lot of rounds, and you got to be able to draw quick. That right there, people don't even get that. Just getting that clip out.
Did you?
I did that using my grain.
My ears are burning.
So pulling
my god,
pulling a mag out of a taco and putting it in reinserting it.
Under pressure.
Under pressure.
Under time.
Yep. And where it's placed on your belt, how it's placed on your belt, and
it comes down to so many finite things. Like, you'll notice that I put the magazine in the taco with the rounds forward.
Yep.
Right. So when you grab the magazine, you're actually indexing your finger on the magazine, so the magazine goes in the gun like that.
Yep.
So some people don't know that. They just stick their magazine in the taco, and then they go grab it, and then they fumble around trying to get their magazine back.
And
in the
works
gun.
that.
So it's like there is an art to this.
Yes.
That's why I consider
Huge
this,
art.
I consider this just a martial art.
That is a martial art. That's
Absolutely.
Yep. And the precision of it, grabbing it, the weight of it, all of it, even loading it.
Yeah.
Or,
Well, even loading it, like for example, again, folks, this is empty. You know, when we would cycle through and we would, release the mag, I'm looking forward. I have this in front of me where I'm still looking, and I still have my eyesight on the target where I can put that magazine in and I'm back on target. So everything is coming from here where my elbow is in, and we rep that over and over and over and over till I was sick and tired of my elbow. I had a bruise right down here from my elbow hitting me, just to get that magazine in.
It's really funny is that all the scenarios that were going on and the thing that happened, right? In the people don't understand the variable mace.
No.
And they don't even consider that.
No.
The variable of mace. Okay, so if you've ever been maced or felt any part of pepper spray in an environment where it's windy and the stuff goes off and you're trying to take care of a scenario. I mean, I remember when police come in and they maced and bouncing in Minneapolis, and you're not knowing where shit is and what that does to your nervous system. Try to do everything you did or do when there's mace in the air.
Yeah.
And believe me, it's tough, because when I came on as a cop, our training guy said, you will never be pepper sprayed this badly before. You'll never again. And they took out the party can. We called it a party can. So it's a big, and they would do this about this fast over the forehead, over the eyes. It took about 5 seconds. They'd empty half a can on your face, and I literally would peel the stuff off. And then we had to actually, work, get the draw, get it up there, be able to look, put it back, and then actually, fight with someone. And it was the worst thing I've ever gone through. I've never gone through anything like that ever. So then when
I'm
there's
so glad I chose not to be a cop.
but
I became a dipshit radio DJ. Probably made the same amount of money too.
probably,
more.
but I'll tell you, I mean, so when somebody's little spritzer of mace, like pepper spray, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
So what else you got out there?
Man.
How many knives you carry?
Usually there's 2 on
7.
me. It's usually 2 on me. So this is a Karambit. This is a by Emerson. I'm surprised they still have these blades. Because
Okay.
when people buy
So for those watching that might not understand the culture, because I understand the culture, but
Yes.
are they looking at you going, isn't that a little overboard with all the things you have to carry? Like, you really need knives, guns, and all this stuff?
Yep.
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 Yep, I do.
Okay. So the reason being is you
For
don't know.
protection, you're just not some weirdo walking around going.
So,
"Yeah,
I can speak to this. I have one just like
Okay,
this.
yeah.
But the reason
Yeah.
being is you don't know what position you're going to be in at any given time, and you have to be able to draw something, right? Because you could be if you're on your right side and your sidearm is on the ground, you need to come back and get something on your left side. There's
Right.
there's all sorts of stuff that's going on.
Do you have like one of those mini baton things? Because I've actually thought about buying one of those. Because in California, I don't want to walk around with a gun. Honestly, I don't want to walk around with a knife. Honestly, but they have those like
Carry knife.
pen-size
Carry
things
knife.
you can just clip on your belt, and you can.
I carry a knife.
And then you got a baton, and you're like, "You want to go? Let's go."
Well, I'll
And
tell
then
you,
they also
I'll
have
tell you.
baton training.
Well,
I've thought about this. So
Well,
what do you think about that?
And saying what you're saying,
Just
I
for a
mean,
civilian.
we had to carry asps or a taser. So I carried a taser, so I wouldn't have to come over here
But
so I
it's
can
called an
beat you.
asp. Is that what I'm talking about? The baton thing?
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's an acid retractable baton. And they're good if you know how to use it. They really do a lot for pain compliance. But as Patrick is saying, is that something that you use, or do you have something different?
Here's the thing. When
Or
you're a
train
police
me
officer,
virtually.
when you're a police officer, you're planning on detaining. When you run into this guy, it's death. That's it. Sorry.
No, I'm planning on surviving.
You're planning on surviving.
Yeah,
so there's a death factor. That guy is already gone past all the boundaries of use of force. You're going right to deadly force. Pretty much, right? Almost.
Yep.
Am I right on that?
Yeah.
But you're also looking at different, like, and
It's
you know
tactical.
this
It's like
more
military.
than
It's like if
anything.
I'm going
Well,
in.
I'm talking self-defense. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
exactly.
it's ADW if I pull out a baton
Right.
on
Yeah.
anybody, of course. But if it's self-defense, that's what
Yeah,
I'm talking
go
about.
ahead.
But I'm not gonna go up to a cop and go, I got a baton, and then boom, boom, boom. That obviously is what's gonna happen.
Again, it depends on the context of the situation, because you, as the person who is being attacked by the perpetrator, you will immediately understand when they are trying to take your life.
Mhm.
There's fighting, and then there's someone who's trying to
Take your life. Yep.
And legitimately, I've had 6 people in my career that tried to end my life.
Yep.
6.
and you know.
So
Yeah.
and I know what it feels like. And yeah, you're right. You start
So
out
do
with a
you get,
baton,
an
but then you
adrenaline
end
rush,
up with
like a superpower, kind of like where you can. No, you. I'm imagining you kind of just
That's a control.
have some
That's-
sort of chemical
Go ahead.
boom.
This goes
Right.
back to the conversation that we had before, which is nonverbal communication, right? So there's 7 basic emotions, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And each one of them puts out a frequency.
right.
So when people are like, "Oh, I got this sixth sense, like somebody's watching me," no, they're directing their energy or their intent
Yep,
upon
yep.
you, right? So when people go, "Oh, well, I can just feel that he's trying to take my life," that's what that means. You're looking at this person who has intent to take your life, and they're sending you a signal, and you may not have the vocabulary to
Process that. Yep.
process or articulate what the signal is, but you know that this person is trying to take life. Like, I got in an incident the other day where some dude, wanted a road rage and he wanted to fight, and I'm like, he just wants to fight.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't
Yep.
have a gun on him or anything. Like, he just wants to fight.
Yeah.
So we're literally standing nose to nose, and I'm like, dude, I just wanted to. And he's like, he wants to fight.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to fight to kill me. He just wants to fucking knuckle it up.
Yep.
And you know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
The hard part is, do you train on a regular basis to understand what that difference is?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when people get in trouble. And I think law enforcement needs to go down that road on a more
A repetitious basis.
consistent
Basis,
yes.
and that's the training.
So along that line, can I interject? What do you think about stand your ground laws then that some states have?
Stand your ground
'Cause
laws.
that just spoke exactly to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Someone showed up for a fight and another guy just shoots him, and some laws, that's cool. That's okay.
Well,
What do you think about that?
so if somebody breaks into your house, what is your house to you?
It's your castle.
Well, it's your castle, it's your domain,
Right.
and you cannot retreat from your own house.
Right,
That-
so-
that's where you live. You have no escape options.
Yeah. So my house is my place of sovereign. That's
That's
where,
your sovereignty.
That's my
Is it-
sovereignty.
You can escape. I
Right.
mean, people can escape from their house. Tactfully, you can escape, but
I'm on the 3rd
that
floor,
should-
though.
you
If
shouldn't-
someone enters my
you shouldn't have
unit,
to. That's
they're-
different.
I'm
but
not going to go
you
around
shouldn't
them.
have
I'm
to.
going to end them.
you shouldn't have to. That's your sovereignty. Go ahead.
It is my place where I don't have kids, but it is a place where my kids rest their heads at night.
Yep.
And I know for a fact that they are going to be safe.
Yep.
It is a place of safety for myself and my loved ones, my wife, my kids,
Yep.
whoever it is. And when somebody comes through that door, I'm not about to ask or question whether or not they're in there to take any goods or whatever it is. You came into my den.
Domain. Yep.
You came into my den, and I'm going to make sure you leave. So there are particular things that you go through. You don't just pull a gun out and start shooting somebody. But there are things that you have to train. Again, in the state of Minnesota, they switched from the castle doctrine to the duty to retreat,
yes.
which is why I stopped teaching permit to carry, because ethically, I just do not believe in that.
Yes.
So
Yep.
I was trained under duty to retreat.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, it's like, why have a permit to carry if you can't? It literally handcuffs you from pulling it out and shooting anyone.
Exactly.
Even if you're in a predicament.
Now-
Well, and for
That's what I thought.
the
Anyway,
cop
so-
in the room, or the former cop in the room, there was it's one of those things where in New Brighton a few years ago, if you remember the elderly man
Yep.
where the kid was breaking into his house,
Yep.
and the elderly man shot him as he was coming in, and they're like wanted to prosecute him because he didn't allow him to turn around and leave. And he's like, I don't know what he's doing. I said I had a gun. He kept coming in and I shot him. And they
you could have went to the bathroom and locked yourself in and called 911.
Right.
You didn't have to
But
shoot
what
him.
it
Like,
came down to,
that kind of thinking, go ahead. Sorry.
well, I'm going to say that what it came down to is, what was his intent? His intent was to come in. Did the owner know what his intent was? And that's what it came down to. No, he didn't. He told him he had a gun. He kept coming in. So he shot him. And you know what? That was it. They didn't even charge him. They
But
said, yep,
here's
that's
a
good.
couple factors in that, right? Obviously, elderly, but you have to fear for your life.
Yep.
And so, if you fear for your life because you can't retreat or you're old, but if you're young and there's a lot of variables involved, and a lawyer will pick at every single variable that is there.
Yes.
And it's like, oh yeah, I was afraid. Oh
Well,
really?
and
You're a
that-
martial arts instructor. You've been doing it for 35 years, and you're afraid?
That's
really.
right.
Well, but that goes without saying. Up north, there is this
it's
not
you're
an elderly guy, but a guy that had his place broken into by these teenagers over and over, and he sat there waiting for them. They broke in, said he had a gun. They turned around, feet out the door, and he shot them, all three of them in the back. And guess what happened to him?
You can't shoot someone in the back.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So you're going to jail, and then so those variables, and unless if you carry a sidearm or a weapon, and you don't know all of these variables and train them or understand them, then you shouldn't be carrying one.
Exactly.
And that's the thing is, like I said, I was just telling him on our break that I don't like to carry anymore because I like to go out and have a couple beers or a couple drinks.
Sure.
So I'm not going to put myself, that's a variable that I can't account for, especially when I'm carrying a sidearm.
Yeah.
But I don't put myself in that situation. Now, if I know I'm going to knowingly go into a situation that I know that there might be a threat or a danger, I'll carry. And then I won't have any alcohol.
Right.
So you have to go and you have to
That's how I
contend
used
with
to
your,
roll.
you have to contend. So a lot of people are going out there, they just put it on. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna carry everywhere. You're a dumbass.
No.
Sorry. You're right.
And
Well, yeah, that's true.
And here's the thing too: is like even if you're justified 100%, let's say someone walks into a mall and they whip out AKs and they don't even get a shot off, and you pop them. You're still subject to civil liability.
Yes.
Their parents are going to go, "You shot my kid, and he didn't."
Yep.
shoot
You were going to
anybody."
get your ass
And
suit off.
it's not even worth it.
Nope,
So
nope.
it's like that's
But-
why I
but
stopped
you're-
carrying too. It's like legally you're setting yourself up. Do you want to be Kyle Rittenhouse? I mean, that
Yeah.
was a mess.
But
you know,
you are gonna be-
it's not worth it at the end of the day. But if you're doing what Mike does and what police officers do, I mean, it's kind of a different level. But yeah, as a former carrying person, it's just not even worth it. Like, and that's kind of like I want to have a baton or some mace or something alternative to protect myself.
I'm going to say this because I got someone tried to take my car in Uptown in 2020, and
Like, yeah, tried.
tried to take my car.
Tried.
Criminals know the law, and criminals know their limits,
Mm-hmm.
and criminals know like what they can do and what they can't do, and you have to start thinking like a criminal in order to understand how they're going to operate. They don't care if you have, they know, like when they say no guns in this area, they know. That's why you see these mass shootings or whatever. And they're
And with no guns, yeah.
with no guns, because they know, because there are plenty of examples of people going into churches and places down in Texas or some other southern state where there are guns and they get their ass shut off.
Mhm.
You don't hear a lot about that, but what you do hear about is them going into places where there are no guns. And it just, you have to kind of ask yourself, it's like, okay, is the criminal as stupid as we think they are? No, they just think in a different paradigm, because in my mind, a lot of people who carry guns, they go, well, I'm a good person, I wouldn't do that.
Yes.
Or people who don't carry it. This is people in general, right?
Okay.
A God-fearing person would say,
Mhm.
I don't need to carry a gun. And no disrespect to you guys. Or, you know,
Whoever doesn't.
Patrick, yeah.
Right.
Who, me?
Yeah. But no disrespect. It's us. Like I had this discussion with my mom, and it's like, my mom thinks that everybody who came across the border is a great person. And I said, no, that's not true. There are the same thing with people who choose to not carry guns. They may go, okay, well, I'm a good person, so I'm going to put my personal bias upon you.
It's almost anthropomorphizing.
It is exactly that.
Yep.
And then they go, okay, well, if I'm good,
Then they're good.
You
Yep.
must be good too.
Yep.
and then they get killed.
Yes.
And then that's what changes their mind.
Yes.
Or maybe not. But
Yep.
at that same
When
point.
you put your place in motion, and everybody does this, and it's just, students do this all the time, and teachers do this all the time and whatever, but go ahead.
No, continue that.
And so we have to understand that for every good person, there is a bad person.
Exactly.
If we go 50-50, if 1,000 people that come across the border, if 1% is bad, that's 10 people, right? So now go to 1 million and go to 10 million, and that's how many bad people. And there are bad people out there. Sorry to say this, there are bad people out there. And there's some people out there that don't deserve life. Jeffrey Dahmers and Ed Geins and things like this. They're just bad people. Sorry that we couldn't help fix them earlier.
It's evil.
It's evil. It's evil. And there are evil people out there that will cut your head off, take your kids, and do all sorts of bad stuff to them.
They'll do it in front of you.
And they'll do it in front of you, and they'll eat your hands. Okay, let's just go. We can go all sorts of stuff. And I'm really trying to understand how people can. And this is the problem. People live in such a comforted life, and they don't see it, or they've never experienced it. That's fortunate for you that you've had that ability, but it's unfortunate for you that you don't have that understanding. And I'm sorry, as a soldier. If I'm willing to go into into a battle, there's people shooting at me, and they will blow my head off, and they will take your life, and they don't care. So that's what we're for, is to protect you.
So I wanted to pivot on this a little bit, because I think all of our mindsets right now, or not all of ours, I'm not going to speak for you guys, but mine is like, there is evil. There's a lot more of it right now. And so for Mike, I wanted to ask you about the business side of this. We saw the CEO of the health care net, whatever, just assassinated on a sidewalk. Donald Trump has been they've tried to assassinate Trump 3 times in 3 years. And it's so I'm sure the evil is out there in business. I'm probably going to say something kind of, business is good. You know what I mean? So,
what you're saying is there is a business for this.
There is a definite increase in political violence and any kind of violence right now, and your job is to kind of protect these people. Can you talk about that? Is it rising? I mean, that's just from an outsider look, and like, if you're anyone of any value, you should have some sort of protection.
Yeah. So, I'm just going to use the 2-party system here for a second, and I've been saying this for a long time. I know people who protect Democrats, and Democrats take this seriously. They take their protection seriously. I know people in the current state house and state senate and senators from Minnesota that really do take their security seriously, and they got people on them 24 hours a day. On the other hand, I know people on the other side of the aisle that don't. And it's like, okay, you would think that when Charlie Kirk got shot, that the Republicans and the Republican Party would go, maybe we need to take a look at this. You can talk about your theories of who did it and why they did it and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it was a person on the right. It was a political figure on the right. And we got some business, right? When the October 7th event happened in Israel.
Well, just in general, I don't want to go right to the business part of it, but just in general, though, like, you've seen an increase of the need for protection, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like, I mean, when the riot.
Let's preface it with that, and then we can talk about the business side of it. But yeah, I wanted to just ask that first. I should have said, over the last, it just seems like 5 years, the amount of need for protection for these folks.
Yeah.
Both sides of the aisles. I don't care. I'm not invested, but a human life is a human life, and all should be protected. Especially, like I said, that the you can think insurance company CEOs are scumbags, but hey, come on, you just can't gun them down on the street, right?
No, I agree, and you kind of look at it from a different perspective. In this line of work, it's like, okay, well, I'll just start by saying this: the dollar gets spent anyway. It doesn't matter who it is or what color, race, sex, creed, whatever it is.
Sure.
Everyone deserves to be protected and protect themselves. When it comes down to political figures or, high-powered CEOs, it's like they are painted in a specific light because of the media or because of some sort of policy that's put in place. That doesn't have any sort of correlation to their character whatsoever. And we are fed a lot of bullshit via the media. We don't actually have these people in front of us having a conversation. I have dealt with some of the people on the left. I have protected them, and they are great people.
Yep.
Yeah. And the thing is, I mean, I've got half of my friends are Democrats or liberals.
Yep.
And I've got, and I've always been basically because of law enforcement. I don't care what you believe in. We come together on other stuff.
Yeah.
We just agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's it. And there's a lot of different worldviews. We don't have to talk about. What we can talk about is what makes us, friends, what makes us human, what makes us like each other.
Yep.
And that's more important than anything else.
I care. I mean, there's a state representative that most people don't like. And I had done some work with her in the past, and she's very nice. One of my coworkers did some work with her. She is extremely nice.
Yep.
And it's like the media and her belief system. It's like, okay, your belief system is your belief system. But when it comes down to the end of the day, you're a person too. And I know that if I got hurt, that person would turn around and go, let's see what we can do to help this person.
Yep.
So,
But I was also going to ask, when you work for these folks, you have to literally believe every person they interact with wants to harm that person sometimes. So you are ultra sensitive to everything, right?
yeah. So there's an individual that Stacy and I both know, and we trained with, and he always talked about the volume, and your alert volume goes up and it goes down. And so when you're assessing people, you're usually running around the yellow, kind of like the orange, Rarely do you get into the red until someone's actually portraying some serious signs that they're going to, hurt people.
Yep.
So when you're out in public and you're standing behind a governor, a senator, or whoever it is that you're trying to protect, everyone is subject to being analyzed.
Right.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And it just comes down to the volume at which you're analyzing them, in my opinion.
Yep.
Some people are low volume, some people are high volume. You're going to put your eyes on somebody and, let your teammates know this guy's got some quirks going on. Like one of our person on our team, she's actually my significant other. I've never met somebody who's so good at reading people in my life. So I brought her on and I'm like, we're going to have her do this. She can actually feel people's energy through their emotion or through their body language.
Empath. Yep.
She's super
Crazy.
empath.
Well, but that's why, people call it empathic, but it's your subconscious that is watching things and telling you that gut feeling. I just had a gut feeling.
Yep.
Well, it's not a gut feeling. It's your subconscious telling you something's wrong.
It's a frequency.
Up.
Yeah, but it's a frequency. But you're starting to go into your five big five personality types, right? And neuroticism is for every unit of energy yields more units of negative emotion, or every unit of stress yields more units of negative emotion. And so women have to have babies, so they are hyper aware of dangers around them,
Right?
And they have to be through. We'll just leave it at that. What people aren't understanding is that, as a special education teacher with a license in emotional behavior disabilities, okay, we have the realm of people with let's say average cognitive capacities, right? There are many people that are outside of those realms.
Oh yes.
And and we're not even considering those. I mean, we got sadists and we got the dark triad that people aren't even comprehending, and they're not even being in the same room with these people. So sociopath and psychopaths and all of that, major narcissists.
Well, but that's what we all know. People are sheltered, and the people that speak the most,
They hear them, but they don't ever experience them.
Right.
It's
But Patrick,
totally
you were
different.
saying?
No, but I was going to ask, the State of the Union recently happened, and I honestly, when I said earlier, I wanted to be a cop or a Secret Service person. I still in my 50s think like that. So I'm going, there's one time per year where the vice president and president are together, and what kind of security is going on over? Like, I don't want to be sadistic, but I'm like, if a bomb dropped on that fucking chamber when they were doing the state of the, I mean, I'm just like, holy shit, there's no leadership left. Like,
there is none. Everybody's
who's in the-
done.
They did make a movie about
bunker?
that. They did make a movie.
Who's in the
about
bunkers at the,
Yeah. So-
is it Trump's kid? Like, but no, those are the things I think about. And I love, that kind of angle of, thinking about it strategically. And so what I was kind of like, wanted to talk to Mike about is like, yeah, those things got to be a mind fuck. Like, when they take a detour and want to stop at a McDonald's unannounced, or but,
I got a story for you on this one. Yeah.
Go ahead.
okay, yeah,
So I'm doing my detail. It's about 3-4 weeks ago, and the principal is, he's doing his thing. We're at a town hall meeting or debate or whatever you want to talk about, and we're done. So we signed in some books, and I'm standing there, and half the team had to go up to Duluth, and we had like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So they took off at 10. I was supposed to take the principal, and we were supposed to be there, but the principal didn't want to leave until about 12:30, and we had to be there by 2. So I'm standing there and I'm looking around, and I'm literally just doing my scan, and I turn around and the principal is gone.
Oh man.
Like, and I look, I'm like, where the fuck did he go? And I look out in the hallway, and he's like out in the hallway. He goes, you can hear him. Where's the bathroom? So one of the officers goes, the bathroom's right there. Right? So I stand and wait for him outside the bathroom. He comes running out of the bathroom. He's like, where's my car? And I'm like, okay, sir, well, we parked your car over here. And I'm like looking out the door, and I turn around, and he's down the hallway. Like a feral cat down the hallway. And I'm like, shit. So I got to run after him. Right. I hustle up to him, and I walk into his vehicle, make sure he gets in, and he gets in, he gets on his phone and stuff like that. But, there are times where it's like,
Yeah. Those are unknown variables.
Have you ever guarded like husbands, wives, daughters, children of said principal important person, where they're like, oh, let's ditch this motherfucker.
No.
Let's go to Subway.
No.
Like, you're like, what?
no, I haven't. I never had that. That sounds like a
Okay.
movie. That sounds like a movie moment.
Yeah.
Well, with asset use. So when we did missile moves in Germany, you have to know that there's going to be variables.
Oh yeah.
And unknown variables.
Yeah.
And you just train for the variables. This is what happens. And the variables are they're many, but if you train them and understand them and see them and can forecast them, that's obviously that's what
forecasting is. The big thing. Yeah.
That's what you're doing. And so
It's kind of like the kid in China that ran out in front of the tank and was like this, in the 90s.
Yeah,
and the
this
tank
guy ran
stopped.
over.
They didn't plan for that. They're like, do we kill this fucker or do we just stop?
Well,
it was like one of the most iconic moments in history.
here's
right?
the harshest thing in the world.
It was.
You can plan for weather or whatever, but
Here's the harshest thing in the world that I'm seeing today.
You can't plan for weather in Minnesota. So you can't.
Oh no, you can't. I mean, you really
That's why
can't.
I'm
In the winter you
California,
can.
bro.
In the summer, no, they can't.
In every job, okay, especially when there's dangerous jobs, there's somebody that just starts, and there's somebody that's been doing it for 20 years. And it's usually the people that just start that make the mistakes. But people blame all of them for the people that just start. And we have to look at there's just like teachers, they make mistakes. They haven't been doing it very long. We can't hold all of them accountable for the things that happen. And then we have to look at specific training. A lot of people don't understand specific training, right? Just because you're a law enforcement officer or just because you're ICE doesn't mean you had riot control training. Doesn't mean you know how to handle.
But on the other side,
specific
though, I think
situations.
there's been a lot of fall off on civic pride. Like people don't look up to
Peter,
police or
my
government officials
my buddy,
anymore because they've lost.
Yeah, all of
credibility.
that. But that's now we're going into our anarchist or even a very far leftist mentality that we won't get into. However, my friend Peter, sent me a video talking about the training that they were doing because they needed to get people in there. And this is the exact same thing that happened during the Vietnam War. They sent a bunch of people. It's like, we got to get people over there, and they give them very minimal training. They throw them out there in the battlefield, and they're dead. Okay, so they had some people get no training, right? We just want you to do this job.
Yeah,
it's a mistake, right? And there are going to be a lot of mistakes made, but hopefully, we just need the bodies. And that's what they're doing in special education. We're just throwing, well, okay, I don't care if you have a degree. We'll give you a variance if you want to be a special ed teacher. We're going to throw you in the classroom with these special ed kids that are running all over the place, and you just do your best. And
Well,
it's exactly the same thing that everything the government ever does.
You are 110% right, because that's what happens. Yep. And that parlays into the one of the last questions that I wanted to ask before we
go
drink off camera.
bleed off camera. Okay.
I saw that you dealt with the JCRC.
Yes.
And that's a big deal right now.
That's Jewish Community Resource Center, correct?
That is, yes. Yep.
And it just, when I saw that on your bio, by the way, that's a special place for me. I'm from St. Louis Park.
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of Jewish people that settled in St. Louis Park. Edina folk call it St. Jewish Park, or not even Edina, whoever. But they would call us St. Jewish Park, and I've got a lot of empathy for the Jewish community. They were my friends when I was in Aquila Elementary, Cedar Manor, and St. Louis Park High School. So I'm almost a Jew by osmosis.
Affiliation.
You know what I mean?
Proximity.
You absolutely are, yeah.
Anyone who's standing up and protecting the Jewish community in Minneapolis, Minnesota, that you got my heart.
I know it's kind of a big deal, because that was kind of a big part of what you're doing. How does all this stuff affect you, and how you handle stuff with the JCRC?
First, I want to say that the people in the Jewish community are fantastic. They were so great to us. I ate so much food. I would work on particular days, and they'd come out and be like, "Did you get any?"
They spoiled you.
Oh my God, they would just bring plates of food, and
wonderful people.
You got enough feed?
Oh yeah, they'd be like, "Oh, you want to come in and have a drink?" I'm like, "I can't drink." Oh, that's too bad. I know it's tough, but it was they are some of the greatest people I've ever met. The people that I worked with, some of the greatest dudes that I worked with. Mm-hmm. And I know that there's a lot of hate in the Jewish community. I know that there's a lot of there's a lot of anti-Semitism, but I didn't see that. And so it's hard for me to listen to that kind of stuff, because it's like, I know what I saw. I know the people that I worked with. I know the people that I protected. I know the families that I saw. And I cannot say enough great things about that community.
Yeah, no, I'm coming at it from a community perspective.
Yeah.
Not. Yeah,
and I think I think maybe you're trying to ask me is, because of the anti-Semitism, does that affect your opinion on how you go about your job? Was that what you're asking, kind of?
Well, yeah, because I would be, if I was in your position, I'd be very much more passionate about it. But yeah. That I'm just saying, I don't understand how that hate, where it comes, like, it's just I can't even, like, I don't even know where that hate comes from. It's just so stupid to me. And I grew up with immigrants they fled Russia because they were persecuted as Jews, and they wound up in St. Louis Park for some reason, and we'll talk about St. Louis Park after the podcast, because I'm from there, and I know you live there, or maybe did live there in the past. I don't know. We're not going to disclose your address or anything right here, but I'm just saying, like, no, it's an important topic to me, and I saw the JCRC thing, and I was like, really, goddamn, thank you.
Yeah, those guys, again, the people that I worked with, fantastic. I was taught and mentored by a great individual. I thought he did an excellent job. I think that the people in the community were just so welcoming and giving. When it comes down to this anti-Semitism stuff, I have a hard time looking at it going, some of the things that I hear, I'm like,
I don't get it either. Yeah.
I'm not.
Well,
not
even
following you.
any community that I
Any
see that.
anti-Jap, Japanese or
Well,
anything. Yeah.
Well, that's the whole
Can I,
thing. Yeah.
can I
Yeah,
say
go
something?
ahead. Yep.
So when it comes down to it, I'm going to say this.
And I think that's what Stacy was trying to say. We protect people. We protect people. We protect people.
When it comes down to it, us as the lowly people, right? Us taxpayers, we are fed a bunch of bullshit from the media.
Mm-hmm.
The media is completely biased, and it is set up to keep us. It is set up to keep us fighting amongst each other.
Yep.
So whatever they can do, blacks, trans, Jews, Asians, and then it's the Native Americans, and it's like everybody is fighting, and it's all perpetuated by the media. Because if we actually just stopped for a second and took a look at each other, we'd probably have a lot more in common than we ever thought, and then we'd probably unite. And I think the government, I'm not a huge government fan, but I think that that is the biggest fear that they have is the United States
Is uniting.
is uniting. Because as one, we are powerful. As a separate entity, all separate entities, we are very weak.
Yep.
I saw a meme. I know memes are stupid sometimes, but sometimes they're smart. And one of them said, the mainstream media's new goal, or maybe it's always been the goal, is to convince 90% of the population that 10% of opinions are the 90%.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's exactly
it's
right.
opposite.
Yep. And so
absolutely.
And what we were talking about too is that when you meet people in these communities, and I know trans people, and I know Native Americans, I know all these people, and everyone, it just seems like so funny because I'm not seeing where all this hatred comes from because they're all very, very nice.
Yeah.
And
we can hang out
they're
with
kind, and we hang around with everybody. We go to the bar. It's like, oh yeah. I mean, I go to the gay 90s, and it's like, yeah, cool, fine. And we all have fun. But we all have fun. And I talk, and I love cultures. I love to go, where are you from? What do you do? And learn about them as much as I possibly can because I want to, embrace that. And then when you live in other countries, you're going to experience that en masse, right?
Yeah.
And so the thing is, especially as a soldier, that you go and you try to do the best you can to protect what we feel is right at that time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. I'll like if regardless, if a school shooter came in while I was in, I'm getting right in front of it. And most teachers will do that without any training. Yeah. They're going to jump in front of that to protect, right?
Well, so this happened during the civil unrest, and this was a discussion with my mom, and I'm going to say hi, Mom. I love my mom. I think she's fantastic, but she's a bit more left-leaning than I am. I'm more of a moderate. My brother and my mom lean pretty left, but we have conversations, and we leave the conversations, and we respect each other's opinions, and we also leave and we go, oh, hey, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
During the civil unrest, so I was on the roof of my building. I had Molotov cocktails everywhere. I had my 308. I had the St. Paul police scanner in one ear, and I had a microphone calling my buddy who was pretty high level in the National Guard. They got birds flying around, tires are burning and shit. And I call him up. I'm like, "What's the deal?" He's like, "Well, National Guard's going to come in. Everything should be okay, but right now every freeway and then the metro area is shut down." So I'm like, "Okay." They were just out in front of my apartment, down the street. They were breaking shit, burning shit. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to put some fire down range. I call my mom and I'm like, "Mom, here's the egress route. This is what we're going to do. I'll pick you up." And she's like, "I'm not going anywhere."
Yep.
And I go, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "There's people coming down the street towards you.
Yep.
And we got to eat. We got to get you out." She goes, "Michael, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. I'm not like you."
Yep.
And that moment right there, I was like, huh. Okay. So there are people that appreciate the fact that you want to protect them, but they don't want your protection because they have a different belief system. And it's like, my mom's 74 or whatever.
Yep.
But that's what she believes.
Yep.
And there are many other people that I have encountered that say the same thing. And it's like, I know a lot of people that are very nonviolent.
Yes. Me too.
And that's their belief. And it's like,
that's fine.
Who am I to say you're going to take my protection?
Yes.
But if you ask me to protect you, I will protect you. And in that moment, there was one of those moments where I was like, yeah, you're right. You're not like me. And there are millions of other people that are not like me. So to put my personal bias upon you or my thought process or my beliefs upon you doesn't do us anybody anybody a service. So
Yep.
it's like, I come from a very diverse family. My uncles were gay; they were married. I grew up with that.
Yep,
My
yep,
brother
yep.
was gay.
Yep.
I went to New York. I've got years of going out to the bars and hanging out with my friends.
Yep,
and
yep.
going,
Absolutely.
my friends are trans. My brother's friends are trans. I was like,
I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. No.
And all this stuff in the media, it's like,
Yep.
I know what
They-
you're doing.
Yep. They only show the hatred and the anger because there are angry people out there, and they're very angry and mad people out there.
That's what
easy-
moves the
they're- but-
needle, and
yeah.
that's the clickbait.
But they're
It's
easily
clickbait on
manipulated.
television,
Yeah.
on the radio, on
Easily
social
manipulated.
media. It's the
And
same.
it's unfortunate because this has been going on. This is what people don't get. This is not just today. This has been going on throughout history as all human beings have been alive. And you can always pinpoint it and you can see it if you
But
study.
I would say media has not been manipulated as
no, in the
degree
past,
it
no,
is
but
now, of course.
exactly.
Yeah,
But
you're right.
if you look at
They've
the history
always
books,
painted the picture.
the history
media's
books
always
yeah,
painted the
the
picture.
history books gives it to you right now. Everybody right now, we see the past as like, that's what Mao did. Oh, that's what Marx did. Oh, I see what they're doing. Human behavior hasn't changed much.
No.
Right? So we have to take that into account. We just see it more, and everybody sees it more, and
But
people relate
Stacy,
to
you
it. Yep.
touched on something a little bit ago. Like if we sat in a room with black, brown, Chinese, yellow, green,
I have.
red,
I have.
like whatever, and we all have.
Yep.
And we go to the bar and we sit there and we have conversations.
Yeah.
None of this shit
No,
happens.
I don't see
And
it.
then you turn it on the news and they think
Oh yeah.
reality, and they're. It's like no, that's.
I've
not- I
never
just
ever
had a-
seen.
I just had a beer with a black guy. Like, oh my god!
I've never ever
Holy
seen.
And you
shit.
guys talked about the hockey
So
game.
fucking
Crazy. I mean, really, right?
We want.
Black people talk about hockey.
I will say this. This is what bothered me a lot is we won gold as a country in hockey, and I'm a big hockey guy. And then I don't think it was politicized, but the president invited the team to the
Everybody stood.
chamber
Everybody.
for-
Yep. Everybody.
and like everybody should have been standing, hoorah, hoorah, and it turned political, and it's just like, come on, man.
A lot of people
that
did
really
though.
pissed me off.
But you know
It's
what,
like,
though?
we can't stand and clap for. I know most did for the hockey team, and I don't want to get into the politics of the rest of it, but just the fact that Trump invited them, we all should have been like, as a country, like, hell yeah, let's recognize our goal. But the narrative got twisted by the media and whoever else wanted to fuck with it, and that pissed me off.
Well, one thing, though, I do-
it's just like, why can't we just have women and men show up, and the women? That's another thing. They already had things going on.
They had things going on. They tried to
didn't say,
portray it as
"Fuck
that.
you, Trump,
Yes,
we're not
they
coming
didn't.
'cause
No,
you're
they didn't
Trump."
at all.
They just said,
we
have
got
other
stuff
things.
going on, and the
they
timing's
won
not
their
right.
Gold a
Yep.
week ahead of time,
Yep.
so they
Yep.
had other.
Yep, they had other.
so
they
the
it's
logistics
not,
of it
yeah,
didn't work out.
It had no
And-
thing on that.
I'm going to say
Yeah,
this.
and they're
Yeah.
still going back to the White
Oh.
House. He's invited them back to the
Yeah,
White House.
yeah.
So,
I'm going to
Anyway.
say this about the television. I'm going to break it down like this. It's
Yes.
vision. So for you people out there that are going
A
to
vision.
I'm gonna break this down. For people out there listening, and you watch TV and you watch social media, it is the biggest brainwashing piece of equipment in human history.
Yep.
Vision.
Yep.
When you look at the etymology
Yep.
of the word,
Yes.
it literally tells you what it's doing.
A vision.
I'm going to
Somebody else's vision.
I'm going to install a
A vision.
vision into your mind. And people don't know that
Yep.
because, again, we have been dumbed down by so many of these things in society
Oh, yeah.
these days.
Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. He talks all about that and what you should do with your kids and social media and all that stuff. Be warned. It's a bad thing. All of it. So we're in an unprecedented time right now that we've never ever seen in human history. And if we don't do something about it pretty quick, yeah.
Well, it comes down to one thing. Okay. I lived it for
Yeah.
many, many years. Every day I was out on the street dealing with it. And people are going to have their own opinions. And, it comes back down to we agree to disagree.
Yep.
But, having you on the show was fantastic. Mike, you are just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to.
I feel like we could do
this
another
kind of
show or
stuff.
another 2 hours.
We're- yeah,
I know you're trying to wrap it up. But
and the
yeah.
thing is, I'd love to have you back on so we can kind of get
Dig
into
deeper
it,
into stuff?
because this is the most political we have ever gotten. 'Cause
Ever.
We're not a political show. We
No.
don't do politics. We don't do religion.
We just want to love people.
We do people,
But we
the
ain't
thing
taking
is,
sides. We're just saying.
but the thing is, there's people that are caught in the politics, and that's you. I was caught into it, but I just don't like talking
I'm
about
caught
it.
into it.
He's caught. I mean, everybody here has been caught in the politics of stuff, and we just don't like talking about it. But because there's so many more or better things to talk about. But this is one of those things. What it's
like
great,
like
for having you.
abortion and no, I'm kidding.
But Mike,
at it.
thanks for coming on. We'd love to have you on again because we could do a whole another show just based upon this. And it's great to for people to see kind of the private security aspect and not just the law enforcement, because as close as they are, they're
very
different.
different.
They're very different. So
I just want to say thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate you guys. I know we've been trying to do this before. I promise my nose won't bleed all over the place next time. I won't be sick. Okay, so we'll be good.
Absolutely fantastic seeing you again.
It's really good to see you too, dude.
Well,
one more thing.
absolutely.
When it comes down to the political piece, I will just throw this out there. I've become a moderate, and it's because throughout this whole ordeal with how our country has gone, I have to force myself to take a different perspective and try to look at where the opposite side is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I cannot just be so hard-headed in one track that it's like, okay,
Yep.
I have to shut down my humanity to just, push forward my belief system. But
Yeah.
I want to hear what other people have to say and
Absolutely.
respect their opinions. As long as you're a good human, if you're
Yeah.
a good human, you're not out there killing babies, that's fine, which is another subject because I was anti-human trafficking. But it's like, as long as we're on the same boat where you just want to be, do your thing. And
I just want to say, why don't you show people your right hand?
oh,
That's what it's about, because right on those knuckles it says LOVE. So, I mean, that's what it's all
Yeah.
about. So,
So that's what it says
Mike?
right before he knocks my ass out.
well, that one says pain.
We're
So,
doing sparring. We're doing some sparring, right? He's like, love you, motherfucker. Boom.
but when it comes down to it, you
Yep.
know, we all have to get along in
Yep.
some way, shape,
Let's
or
love each
form.
other, man.
We got to love each other for the humans that we are. And, Mike, it's been awesome having you on. We're going to have you on
Duffy.
again.
Yep.
We'd love to, because we can continue this.
Yep.
And next week we're gonna have it's gonna roll into St. Patty's Day, and there's gonna be a whole lot of Irish love going on.
Yep.
Mike Duffy. Irish is coming in, right? Duffy, you're fucking
yeah, it's Irish.
It's another Irish. So,
Hey.
folks, thank you for tuning in. We can't do this without you. Thanks for watching the show. Please subscribe, share, and like.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends, and we'll see you next week for another show. Take care, folks.